Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity.
What's going on, everybody? Today I figure it's about time I answer this question that I've been getting recently ever since I uploaded my video about re-rolling to a Berserker. My Discord has been just flooded with questions like, oh, should I re-roll to Zerk? Is he actually really good? Is he viable? How good is he in PvE, PvP? Alright, look. Before I even get into all that, let me set the tone for this video. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest. Some things I'm just going to say out of pure anger, frustration. I'm going to do my best to spit straight facts and tell you guys the business and give you guys the utmost appropriate response to these questions, because Berserker state is complicated at the moment, and to say no or yes is kind of hard to do, especially if you love the class. You know, I rolled off the Berserker a long time ago because I couldn't figure out how to play it, but now that I know how to play it, I don't regret re-rolling, but definitely there are issues. So with that being said, I just wanted to let you know, brutally honest, but I am going to tell you straight facts. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons of the Berserker. So let's start with the pros. Pretty good PvE, decent clear speed, has somewhat decent mobility depending on where you are. Places like Akhman, Histria, mainly Akhman, you'll kind of find yourself a little claustrophobic and you can't exactly run through mobs effectively, but places like trees or manshums, Histria too, those places are actually not nearly as bad. But yeah, I mean, the clear speed overall is actually pretty good. He does a lot of damage and I think it's not bad by any degree. Other pro is he's fun to play. That's it. Cons: he's missing about 40% of damage capabilities and movement options. If you guys have ever seen PC, you'll notice a variety of options with mouse click and just overall a shit ton of other things that make the Berserker look insanely good and crazy. And yeah, we don't have any of that. You can't direct rocket jump. You can't direct lava piercer in terms of mouse movement. You can't what's the word here? What's the other one? You can't, I don't even think we have the iframe. We don't have the iframe on Shakeoff. We don't have a lot of things. Same thing with Flamebuster spam. We don't have that either. So we're missing quite a bit from PC that makes the Berserker somewhat decent and viable in sieges and node wars, even open world PvP. Another con is that we are very skill point reliant. We need at least 1800 plus to remotely feel useful. I am barely at 1100 and I'm definitely feeling better coming from 700. So yeah, this is not a false truth by any degree. You legitimately are going to need about 1800. 1100, I'm doing okay in grinding, but I feel the drop off in PvP for sure. It really hurts to not have anywhere close to that. Another really annoying con here is the Berserker is based around grabs, and since console does not have the Flamebuster spam, which is what helps him be sort of a zony keep away character, as well as sort of just kind of a space fighter where you're just creating spacing and using your Flamebuster spam in order to get a few little picks here and there. Not to mention, this has already been admitted multiple times on the BDO stream, the consoles suffer from desync, horrible desync. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's where you grab somebody and then they sort of fall out of your grab, or they kind of like slide backwards and you have to redirect your camera. There's a few different cases of desync, but overall this really messes you up, considering that that's all we have. As a Berserker, we legitimately only have grabs because nothing else we do does damage. We cannot kill anybody with just like, you know, a crush or a meteor or anything like that. Like, we don't have that one ability that just absolutely decimates people. Like that doesn't exist for a Berserker. We have horrible damage scaling. Another con, we have terribly long animations that will definitely get you killed. The good part about this, I guess, is that most of them can be animation canceled with Shakeoff or any form of other animation cancel. But the problem is, if you do that, you lose damage. Example, Slugfest does okay-ish damage. I mean, in PvE it does. PvP, it does negative damage. And on top of that, you have to animation cancel it because it's too long. If you throw somebody on the ground and do Slugfest, you'll notice that they're going to get up by the time your Slugfest is over. And if they're a grab class, they're going to reverse it onto you. If, like, let's say a striker, if you try and throw somebody on the ground and then you do Slugfest, they're going to wake up, grab you, and then just kill you because their damage is insane and yours isn't. Another con, we have no safe movement options at the moment. We are supposedly or supposed to be getting an iframe for Shakeoff, but we do not have that at all, so that sucks. And for those of you that may or may not know what the movement is for Berserker, it's the crab walk where you do headbutt, Stormy Beast into ultimate evasion, and then you can do like lava piercer and stuff like that to elongate it. But the point being is that none of it is safe. Nothing is safe. The only thing that is somewhat safe is lava piercer, and you can, I believe, be grabbed out of it, and on top of that it has hit stun, so if you run into mobs or anything like that, it will slow you down. And also if you get hit, it also slows you down. And the last thing that I'm willing to talk about, because if I go any longer, this video is just gonna be 20 minutes of complaining, but the last thing I want to mention is we have terrible open world PvP. We have way too much collision. The environment gets in the way. You can't move through mobs effectively like most classes. Example, Musa can backdash through mobs to get behind them or to just overall move in between mobs. And the Berserker only has ultimate evasion, which is very, very slow, and it's not protected by any degree, so we can get bonked on the head or whatever. And Ackman, for example, those hammer dudes, they can hit you, knock you on the ground while you're doing that. So yeah, it's not great. The open world PvP really sucks, and it's hard to defend your grind spot, especially in Ackman, because there's nothing you can do. Mobs get in the way. The collision with, you can't lava piercer because it doesn't go through mobs. You'll just end up running into them, which makes you very, very vulnerable, and classes that have the mobility can easily run circles around you while you're just trying to figure out how to move out of a mob. So yeah, that's a lot of horse shit. I know, it's very, very, very awful. I couldn't really think of any pros other than the PvE's kind of nice when you're not being fucked with, and he's fun to play. That was legitimately all I could think of. And all the cons, yeah, I mean, it's really upsetting. I re-rolled because I figured, since I have more knowledge of the game and I have actual thumbs to where I can sort of play the Zerk to somewhat of a degree. Obviously, I'm not perfect by any point of view right now, but I definitely have the movement down for the most part. Combos, I've got a little bit of combos that I can maybe kill somebody with. It just all depends on, whether or not I don't fuck it up or lag or anything like that. Oh, that's the other thing. Lag, huge issue in BDO. You need perfect frames for the Berserker because canceling and animations and stuff like that, just, oh god, if you can't cancel properly and frame drops get in the way where you're just at a huge just drop off, it fucks your combo up immediately. So that's another thing. I forgot what I was saying because that was so, that shit happens to me so much, it made me angry. But look, listen, answer your question is yes and no. No, if you want a PvP, at least right now. He's not really in a great state. Awakening is outdated, very, very just not good. Animations are too long, no damage. We don't have the movement nor the abilities to make him good. If we had Flamebuster spam, it would actually be pretty game changing because that would allow us to be a bit of a spatial fighter, and we would have a lot more present in node wars and sieges. We still somewhat have a presence because we can still use Flamebuster, but we just can't spam it, and it's not nearly as damagey as PC or useful. So yeah, I mean, if we got that, it would be nice, but that's nowhere here or there, I guess. But I mean, if you guys have been watching the gameplay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm clearing mansions perfectly fine. Not that that's a hard feat or anything like that, but it's fine. If you're grinding, low-end areas, it works. And then I even clear trees by myself. I can solo trees with the basic buffs, only a cron meal and church buffs, which are readily available. I didn't feel like using tent buff because, some people aren't willing to drop the money for a tent, so I figured I'll just use what is readily available in the game for just silver. And if you guys notice, I actually took down the tree without breaking it, and on top of that, I cleared the entire tree, which means that all the mobs on that specific tree were cleared, and I had a little bit of time left over. So you definitely can clear a tree at a decent speed. Obviously, it's nothing extravagant, but the point being is that, can you do trees at 245? Yes, you can even solo it yourself. It's very, very simple. More or less, when it comes to PvE, I feel comfortable. I feel at home. I feel like this character should be as is, where he does a lot of damage, has decent tankiness. I feel whenever I'm just in PvE, this is what the class should be. Really, really good damage and tanky. That's all I want. Soon, we're going to be asking, I think, Sherna. I'm in the Console Berserker Discord, where we're all just kind of writing up questions and trying to have an interview with Sherna. I think Guido is the one spearheading that. Hopefully we can get some answers and maybe we can get some changes and just the Berserker some love, because this is not coming from me, by the way. Like, this is not just me complaining. Me and all the other console Berserkers have been talking these past couple days, and we've been bouncing these thoughts and ideas in our head over and over and over, trying to just make sense of the situation. And the Berserker's just in a bad spot, very bad spot. He is probably the worst character in the game, or one of the worst characters in this game. When it comes to PvE, no question that he is very, very good to clear and just kind of move around to a certain degree. But when it comes to just PvP and defending your grind spot in a PvP game that is based around all of that, it is incredibly hard to argue that he's in a good spot. There is no way you can convince me that the Berserker is top tier or even remotely close to something like a Striker or a Guardian or whatever. Like, this is just not. So now that I've mentioned all that information, should you reroll? Yes and no. If you want to have fun PvE and no PvP at all, yeah, by all means, you'll have a lot of fun. You'll feel right at home, and you'll really enjoy his animations. You'll really enjoy kind of just the overall, heaviness of the class, the way he flows and moves. Very, very cool class. Definitely, if you're just planning on grinding and going to, Akhman or Histria, staying clear away from Arsha, not going anywhere near PvP at all in the BA, just straight grinding, hell yeah. Super fun, don't regret it at all. If you like to do PvP and PvE, you're gonna be very frustrated with yourself, because you're gonna feel like, all these players have a huge advantage over you, and they do. So, no. If you want a PvP, no, not right now. Definitely don't re-roll for PvP. You'll hate yourself. You genuinely will hate yourself. Even at high AP brackets, you will hate yourself. My buddy Guido is 280 and still struggles in PvP, especially when it comes to defending grind spots and such. It's very hard to watch, because you're just like, wow, this is night and day. While watching like a Musa or Meiwa fight a Berserker and Akhman is quite trashy. It just feels bad, man. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.